I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't.
Terence Crawford says that Errol Spence isn't going to the Hall of Fame. Is Errol Spence going to be a Hall of Famer? It's your boy, Mr. 926, a.k.a. Bushido the Dragon, a.k.a. the Black Mage, a.k.a. I can just do this all day, the two-time Demontage champion of the world.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man. Get the likes up.
Check it out, man. Terence Crawford was on a podcast with Henry Cejudo, Kamaru Usman, two former UFC champions, two former UFC legends. On a podcast with those guys, right? Pound for Pound podcast. I think that's what it's called. They talked about things like UFC versus boxing pay.
Boxers get paid more than MMA. It's no comparison.
At the top?
No.
At the top?
As a whole. For instance, you'll see a guy headlining at the Spear. They probably be getting a couple of $1 million. But you'll see a guy on the undercard of a big show probably making more money than that guy.
Which guy?
Guys.
We don't want to open up the books now. We don't want to open up the books. You're right. I do agree. At your level right now.
Not me. I'm saying on the undercard. Because y'all do 1-on-1. You show up, you get 50,000. You win, you get another 50,000. You get the knockout of the year, you get another 25,000.
Let me say, for entry-level UFC fighters, when we first fight in the UFC, you might be making 10 and 10. You go out there and win, you just $20,000.
Right.
To where there's boxers that maybe 7, 8, 10 and 0. Hey, you want to fight this fight? All right, 2,500. That's all I mean.
Okay, so let me break it down to you.
All right.
UFC, that's like the top of the top. So we talking about the big stage. So once you make it to the UFC, you in the big leagues now. When I make it to the big leagues, when I'm on TV, I'm making more than you making when you come into the UFC.
There's one thing that we can't say about the UFC. There's no running.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How long did you have to go out there and literally chase a guy like Errol Spence before you made it happen? 5 years. How long did Floyd Mayweather had to fight Manny Pacquiao? 7 years. In the UFC, Dana White's like, you know what? You don't want to fight? Give me your belt. There's also a pride to be able to say that I'm also fighting the best competition at the right time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's somewhat of a double-edged sword. There's a competition side, but then there's also the financial side too.
I can agree with you on that.
And who gets paid more and things of that nature, right? But he gets asked about Errol Spence. And some fans may take it as, is Crawford hating, right? Is he hating? Is he downplaying his greatest win? Check out what he had to say.
I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame. He couldn't. You know, like everything that I've accomplished, he's still trying to accomplish. You know.
Do you not think Spence will be in the Hall of Fame?
Right now? No, how?
Yeah, he's right, dude. He's right.
How? You know, he fought in one division. You know,
he never unified the belts.
He unified.
He did unify.
You know,
IBF.
He unified.
WBA, was it?
He had 3.
Yeah.
He had the
but
WBC,
he didn't unify all
WBA,
4. He wasn't
IBF.
undisputed.
Huh?
He wasn't undisputed.
He wasn't. No, but what I'm saying is, they already called him a weight bully, right? He beat Kell Brook coming off of a loss, an eye injury. You know, he beat Sean Porter.
In all fairness, he had to go over there to get that.
Like I said, you know what I mean? That's a good win. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on him or, you know,
I understand
things like that. But I honestly don't know if he make it to the Hall of Fame with the accolades that he didn't got right now.
Now, to hear what Bud had to say, it's hard to... It's like he was not, you could tell he was trying not to come off as hating, but he was speaking facts, right? Let's be honest. He was speaking facts. Errol Spence, and this is something that I've been talking about, and I'm an Errol Spence fan. You guys already know it. But I always told the truth. Errol Spence ain't moved up no weight classes. He ain't really done much in comparison to Crawford other than got some guys in the ring to face him when it was hot. Other than that, there's wide spots of inactivity. And after his biggest fight with Terence Crawford, we ain't seen him no more. We ain't seen him no more, bro. We ain't seen you. So how could you say, based off the little bit that man, it's I don't even want to come off as a hater, bro, because I like Errol Spence, bro. So I don't want to diminish the guy or anything like that. But that inactivity, bro. Inactivity. In your prime years, while you were a champion, you was very inactive, dog. Very inactive. It's when we compare the two, Crawford and Spence, Crawford's definitely a surefire Hall of Famer. 100%. His accolades is ridiculous, right? I can't even name them all. But I can see if Errol Spence conquered a couple of weight classes, maybe beat a few guys at 54, took some belts, maybe moved to 160, beat a couple of guys there, took some belts, right? Been in a couple of more big fights. The losses don't matter, right? The losses don't matter. You could always bounce back and still be great after taking a loss. We all know that. But Errol Spence, he ain't came back, bro. It's tough. That's a good debate. Good question. Is Errol Spence Jr. gonna be a Hall of Famer? When we compare him to Crawford, I don't think so. But then you may have some guys that say Shawn Porter could be a Hall of Famer. Shawn Porter's pretty active. Shawn Porter fought a who's who. Shawn Porter did a lot, right? Even though he didn't move up multiple weight classes himself, he was way more active. I think the activity thing is what really going to hurt Spence in his Hall of Fame, being a Hall of Fame candidate. That might hurt him a lot. Not to mention, it's been almost 2 years since he fought Terence Crawford, right? It's been almost 2 years. So it's like, I don't know, bro. Because the Kell Brook fight, Kell Brook was beaten and battered. You know, we know the circumstances with that situation. I don't want to take nothing away from it, but at the same time, that was the reality of it. Kell Brook just came off a big injury, a broken orbital, fought Triple G, moved up, came back down 2 weight class, had to squeeze back down to a weight class he was struggling to make at that particular time. I'm not sure, bro. It's tough to say. I honestly leave it up to you guys. But Terence Crawford, a lot of people is saying that Bud Crawford, that was dumb for him to say that, because you kind of diminishing your biggest victory against Errol Spence Jr. by saying that he's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, but in reality, how could you really say what makes Errol Spence Jr. a Hall of Famer is the question. What has he done? And I don't want to come off like that, right? Because I respect all fighters. It's not easy to get to where Errol Spence was at in his career. It is not easy by any means, right? But what has he done to be a surefire Hall of Famer? He was a unified champion, you know, in the welterweight division, the glamour division. He was a welterweight champion. But outside of the lopsided defeat to Terence Crawford, fighting Shawn Porter, fighting Danny Garcia and Eudenis Ugas and Kell Brook, and Crawford fought most of those guys as well. So it's like, where does Spence go from here? You know what I'm saying? Honestly, if Errol Spence is still serious about boxing, we don't know. We don't know if he got a trainer anymore. We don't know anything that's going on with Errol. We don't know anything that's going on with Errol Spence at this current moment. We don't know if he's coming back. We don't know if Derrick James and him buried the hatchet. You know, they fixed their little problem they had and they're going to move forward with the careers. We don't know anything that's going on with the big fish. But Terence Crawford said that Errol Spence isn't a Hall of Famer, and he gave his reasons why. Tell me what you guys think. Is Errol Spence Jr. going to be in the Hall of Fame? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.